Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Sefeo podcast. I'm Atelstan, and this is my partner here, Tanaka Ariki. Hello, Ariki. Would you like to introduce yourself
Hello.
to all the listeners here?
Hi, Hajime Master. Hello, everybody. I'm an Ariki.
Hmm?
Just a lot of people say that my name is Ariki Tanaka, but actually I changed my name. My name is Horuhei Ariki. It was just like last name. And I'm Japanese who live in England. So yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Eric. So today we're about to talk the accent and the pronunciation, as the Ariki is right.
Wait.
Okay. Okay. Before we start about talking about the accent and the pronunciation, all of you might be familiar with this topic. So before we talk more about it, the accent, let me convey you to some definition. I just got it from the internet right now. The accent is the language, rhythm, and the melody which just distinguishes regional variation of the same languages. Whereas the pronunciation is the way we pronounce each syllables of a word. So, did you get it, Ricky?
Yeah,
what
I
do you
get
think
it.
about the definition about?
Well,
you
it's a
agree with that
definition about an
definition?
accent. Actually, I'm not agree with that definition. There's a lot of fucking person out there talking about an accent. Like, accent is more important than pronunciations. I absolutely doesn't care about an accent though anymore, because when I'm talking about these fucking accents, a lot of people out there they feel so arrogant about the accents. So the real definition of an accent for me is for like more fancy, wanna be like a native. I'm a Japanese. I've been living here in England for about 17 years, and I can't be like a British. It's rubbish, mate. It was just a rubbish, talking like a native speaker like that. And you know what? I've been searching a lot of definitions, but the definition of accents, it's like for me, the definition of accents like the local dialect, whereas people live in, they use their own slang. The way they talk to a lot of people, just call them accents, while the pronunciation is like the basic of the language, like language alphabet, which is we say some word with the IPA standardizations, so we pronounce it correctly by the standard. While in accents, in areas there are a lot of accents, especially in England. I'll tell you, like a Cockney, Brummy, Yorkshire, Leicester, Manchester, and also estuary English. I've been living in Essex, and of course, my accent's kind of mixed between the British, estuary, and Japanese as well, mate.
Oh, so are you living in England, right? Based on your experience, how long you been living there? By the way, if I may know.
I've been living here for about 17 years. Oh, yeah, I have a good story. I've been living here in England for about 17 years, and I met with a lot of people out there who just like, they're not living in England, they live in another country, but they're trying to be like a British, and they pronounce some word and make it wrong, but it just like take the intonations take from the British intonation, and they take some, mistakenly pronounce some word mistakenly, but doing a British accent. For example, like, I want to be like this. I speak British. I said that I really like you. It's just like fucking, it's just like, oh. And they say it like, I can speak British, I'm better than you. I feel so, crazy listening to that people talking about that.
Yeah, I have the same story as you, as we know. So, Ariki, do you think that accent is not really important, right? As the used to say before. So,
No.
what about the pronunciation, Ariki? Would you like to tell us more about the pronunciation?
As I say, the pronunciation is the most important thing if you want to learn accents because accents and pronunciation actually is connected. So when you learn a pronunciation, you also learn an accent. Let me take like American accents and British accents. American accents has 11 vowel sound while a British has 12, which is very different. So if you want to learn a pronunciation at the same time, you also learn an accent. So that's why I said pronunciation is better than accent. But when you learn an accent, not pronunciation, this is a little bit different because every area has their own an accent. For example, like Cockney, you might say like if you are a Cockney and you said like, "Oh mate, I'm a little Italy," so you literally put a little gelato and little Italy. It was like absolutely useless, learning an accent. But when you learn a pronunciation, you look at to the IPA, International Phonetic Symbol. You might say, "Hello mate, I'm a Little Italy. I bought a lot of gelato in Little Italy." It's more clear than learning an accent. So that's why learning pronunciation, it's better than learning an accent. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, some of people might be got stubborn learning the accent. They might thought that they really sounds like a native by learning the accent, but unfortunately they just forget about the fundamental thing about the pronunciation, right? Before we start about the accent, we should maintain our pronunciation, especially our intonation, lesson, contraction, linking word, and so on, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Eric, I'm just curious about your daily life in the UK because you are as a foreigner and I'm as a foreigner, right? I'm as a foreigner as well, and I think that there's a bunch of foreigner over there. Would you like to sounds like a native by just like by imitating the accents? Have you facing kind of experience over there? There's kind of like a new immigrant comes to the UK and start to speaking like such as arrogant as what Indonesian have here. I'm really sorry.
No.
Okay.
I want to correct you. Not only Indonesian, I have a lot of friends not a lot of friends. I have a friend, just one friend. She is Syrian and she's so arrogant, like, "I can't speak a British. You are not like a British," something like that. But actually, I've been living here for about 17 years. How can she judge me not like a British? But while I'm living here for about 17 years and she not. Okay, back to my experience here as a foreigner living in the UK. I'm as a foreigner living in the UK, and I'm a foreigner living in the UK. As I said before, like I've been living here for about 17 years, and I'm Japanese. But even I live here in the UK, it doesn't mean I 100% like a British, like an English. No. Sometimes I put my Japanese accents in there, so we kind of talk like mix between the Japanese, English accents, more like that. And also, this is a fun fact: if you go to London, I went to London yesterday with my mate. So I went to London and met a lot of Pakistanis over there, and they not only Pakistanis, also like African, like black people. Okay, they speak accent. They speak English with an MLA accent, like multicultural London accent, which is kind of funny because I found African accent, Pakistani accent, Indian accent, British accent, just in the one language. 4 accents, 1 language.
Yeah.
Multicultural London accents.
So, okay, I just wanna carry you in kind of a situation with Asia. You as an Indonesian. You as an Indonesian. You found this annoying guy who are the same learners as you, but at the same time, they're really annoying. Thought they are superior than you. So superior than the author with their perfect accent. State.
So, mate,
if you just kind of,
I think the connection's not good. I think my
what you
connection's
gonna
not
do?
good.
Really?
Sorry, mate.
Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna try to repeat it.
Okay.
I'm about to carry you into a kind of like a situation. In a case, if you ask the Indonesian guy, and then at the same time you are the learners, you found such an annoying guy who think that he's superior than the others, but at the same point, he's still a learner just like you.
Okay.
And you know what you gonna do if you found this kind of kiddos, Ariki?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
If I found someone like those guys that you told me, I would like to tell him like, well, 100%, perhaps an 80% I will ignore him, but 20% if he feels so annoys me, really annoys me, I'll talk to them that there is a sky up above the sky. Because that fucking person must be dying. You know.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I've been researching like for this research, for this materials, for this like kind of matters that needs to attack that person, and I'll search about that, and I'll kill them because he's a rubbish. Even I'm a learner, also I have a native speaker in my side, so when I said something to my teacher, for example, like native speaker, I've been living in England, my friend is native speaker, so I talked to them. I want them to listen to that guy's sounds, like a guy's voice, and I want them to correct that guy. So they attack that guy at the same time.
Yeah, that was exactly I do all the past year when I run that kind of guy. But this day, lately, I just kind of like ignoring all of them. Okay, so Ariki, talking about living in the UK and talking about your teacher, right? You've been living in the UK for 17 years, right? So, Ariki, in the UK, there's a bunch of immigrants. There's a bunch of immigrants who don't speak English, or even they just speak English a little bit. If they speak with their own accent, does the native just underestimate them, or just like, we just kind of like a big family, it doesn't matter if you speak in the other accent, so far as you could speak in English, that's enough? Is that the kind of situation over there, or neither?
I might say I don't know the British people in general, but 17% of British people are very, very, very kind, very humble, but 20% of the British people is very, very basic. Sometimes, like, when they trying to speak English with their accent, and they like, usually from people from Arabs, especially people from Arabs, when they came to the UK, they got racist that was like, just go back to your country, we don't need people like you are terrorists. And I, almost every year I found that person. But my feelings when I listen to that person, my feelings like, I want to help them, but I'm also a immigrant, so I don't have any power to against that person. But if I will, I will. But beside of that racist person, there's a kind person. It's like inside them and tell them like, you have to be respect not each other, like that. Because from their accents, they judge someone is a terrorist. It's very cruel, especially in London. especially
It's
in
very
London.
cruel. Yeah, I
Very
agree
cool.
with that. It's about the stereotype over the world sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not in UK. All over the world, there's a bunch of people being racist. They are kind of like bollocks. I'm really sorry to say that. Oh,
They're
okay.
just like rubbish.
Okay.
They're just a fucking person. Yes. Just fuck the world.
So, Eric,
We're right now. Hi.
yeah, I agree with that. So, Ariki, based on
Hi.
your opinion,
Hi.
we just get over about the racist guy. We just get over about anything that we talk about the racist, the really annoying thing. So, based on your opinion, what kind of accent that you think it's prettiest than the others?
Accent. I might say yappali Cockney. I don't know. I feel like
What was
Cockney is
that?
very rich. Cockney is very
Oh.
rich, and I love Cockney accents, and especially I love my idol Adele Laurie Atkins, and I love her so much. And sometimes I pretending to be a Cockney, like my mum's, my butter is brown bread. I need a dog to call me mum. It means like my battery is dead. I need a phone to call my mum. It feels like very, 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 very rich. Like the slang is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. There's the fucking crazy of the slang because I love this rubbish. I love Cockney so much. I love fucking Cockney. But at that time when I went to London and I met with a Cockney person, this is a Cockneyist, like Londoner in the southeast London, and I met with a Cockney. I said like, she teach me a little bit about slang words from a Cockney, and it said like, oh mate, yeah, it's a jump jar. It's nice, isn't it? But this is the stereotype. This is the stereotype of the entire world. When I met with American, like in Norwich, there's the American as well, and when we met with American, they started with it, and they started talking like a bottle of water. This is very stereotyping of the British people. What happened with the bottle of water? Actually, we just say bottle of water, not a bottle of water. But this is the very, very in any race in the entire world. When you meet with people from Indonesia, from Japan, from America, where they say a British, they would think about a bottle of water. But actually, we don't pronounce it correctly. A bottle of water. Sorry, a bottle of water is the best thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that. I know. It's not also happen in English. It also happen in other languages. Such like we just take on example about the French. There's French people always correct the others who don't speak French with the accents. It sounds really fucking weird though. So okay, Ariki, so far we're just talking about the British accent, right? Let's move to the other accent. What about the American accent, the American pronunciation?
I'm so excited to the French.
It's totally different. Perhaps it's beyond of your level. I don't know. Deep down, kind of like one or two about the American accent. Would you like to tell us, mate?
About an American accent. So, American accent was began with Noah Webster. He created an American English. So, the American words is taken from Spanish, and the pronunciation also is taken from like Spanish pronunciation, because American R and the British R is absolutely different because it's take a word from Spanish, while British is more like from French. And also from Arabic, actually. For the example, we can say in eggplant. Eggplant is from because it's shaped like an egg, and also it's a plant. So American would like to say it's an eggplant, and also and the other one in the English in the RP is aubergine. It take from Arabic, aubergine. And also,
Oh.
like maneuver, it also from French, while American is
Oh.
maneuver, and also like apartment, flat, and also Pacifica. I don't know how to call it in America. In America, oh sorry, Pacifica is American, while in the UK we say it's a dolly.
Mhm.
Trolley, I don't know what it's called in American, but we said trolley, and also a pavement, and also the ground floor. We have the ground floor while American don't. Yeah, we take a lot of words
Yeah.
from French as well.
Oh, I see. It's just new for me. I just got new information from you. Thank you so much. By the way, talking about the accent of the American, I feel that in America they just rolling their R. It's just a erratic accent, isn't they?
Yeah, it's erotic. It's erotic.
What
It's
about
the
in
same like in
UK? Like,
Japanese. In the UK we don't have erotic, but we have a simply high, like the actually British accent's a little bit tricky. I just found it. I just realized it when I just like, oh yeah, it's a little bit tricky. For example, like I don't want in the media event we don't have any something very very beautiful. For example, that word media event. I said media event, not media event, but media event. I don't know what happened with the British. It is like we put an R in the middle of the word. It's special in special condition. We pronounce the R, which is R doesn't exist in the I think for
it's
example,
just like a Linkin R.
so the link R. For example,
Oh,
like I think Lauren and Lul is absolutely different like that. I think Lauren Lul doesn't. It's not the same thing. It's not linking R. It's just absolutely tricky. This is one thing that you prove that people from Britain are not linking R.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. And so far I know, in America also have a dynasty that the British didn't have a dynasty as well. So yeah, it depends on the accent. They have one or they just avoided one or something like that. They just make it sound really different, just like in Aussie. So well, I know that.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? How are you? In British, they would like having some of way to say how are you, kind of like how are you keeping or something like that. But in Aussie, they have kind of like a slang. It's really tricky though. They might say good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
It's
Oh
just
yeah.
It sounds
Good
like
day, mate.
good day. What I mean about the good day, there's no relative to the good day as well, but they just asking about your physical condition. It's really tricky one, mate. Sometimes I just got a headache one, even though I'm living in Indonesia, but I'm really focused on the Aussie accent because it's really fucking hard for me.
Do you know what?
Uh-huh.
When you said like good day, mate, I remember something in my head. It was like it's kind of similar with a Cockney. Good day, mate. Oh yeah. Good day, mate. Oh yeah. It's not how are you, but oh yeah. Good day, mate. Oh yeah. And also, talking about an like an Australian accent, I have something really, really important. Not important. It's really like kind of funny, you know.
What's that?
I have like not Australian. I have American. Sorry, talking about American accents. I have American accent. I have American friends, and we're in the same class in my university. Is NNPA University, and in my size, my table mate is American. So when I ask any Papa to my American mate, and I like, yeah. I mistakenly write something on my book and I ask some rubber to my mate and feels like, do you want to have sex? What? It was just crazy. Do you want to have sex?
Oh, it sounds
a
really
rubber?
disgusting.
And also, I asked my
But you
mate,
have to try once. Sometimes.
No,
Just
my
kidding.
mate's just like, and I would just say like to my mate, sorry, I'm not gay, so I just ask you for a rubber, not having sex. And they say, yeah, rubber, rubber, you know, I need a rubber. I mean, to delete my pen on my book. And they say like, oh, eraser. Why did you just say eraser? It's rubber, mate. It's a rubber. Rubber is a condom. And it's just like, oops, my bad.
Oh,
I don't know that the rubber is a condom.
kind of embarrassing. And at the same time. And also, tell us more about the funny story that you got over there. Especially talking about the accent and the pronunciation. Ariki.
Well, talking about, the first funny story is about rubber. You thought that a condom, sorry. You can censor it later. I don't have any right to do that. But this is the real conversation. And the funniest thing is about the thongs. Do you know thongs? Hello, mate.
What was that?
Do you know thongs?
Anyway, guys, our time is going to run.
Okay. Thank you so much, mate. Okay. I'll tell you later in the next podcast about the thongs.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Ariki. It's so satisfying for me.
Thank you.
So interesting talking about the
Okay.
accent.
Okay.
Have a good day.
I said
We're gonna
sorry.
end up the podcast right now. So, do you have any message to all the listeners here?
Okay, first of all, I want to say sorry. I was saying a lot of bad words, and I hope Selkie will remove it. Sorry, Selkie. And also, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the podcast. And don't forget to invite me later. Oh, wait a minute. This is the announcement. I will do a podcast with my Japanese friends where we talk about the Japanese and English relationship. As the Japanese who live in England and who as the Japanese live in Japan. And just wait for our podcast.
Oh,
Thank
okay. Okay, thank you so much, Ariki. Okay, we're gonna end up our podcast right now. So, see ya, guys.
Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu.